journey together, gathering Earth's graces in this time of winter and darkening, of waiting and hoping, of Advent and Hanukkah, and probably many other seasons. We have traveled through the launch, as I said, and all of those previous ones are on YouTube because they were taped as well, if anybody would like to go back for any parts of those. Today in the Catholic Church is the feast of St. John of the Cross. John of the Cross was a mystic Carmelite priest in the 16th century, and you don't usually think of him when you're talking about joy, more like suffering and reform. And but actually, on our vocation Facebook page today, we have a quote from John of the Cross, which is this: "Joy is not found in material objects, but in the inner recesses of our soul." So tonight we're going to look a bit at how is joy part of us, part of those inner recesses of our soul. And by the way, just putting in a little plug here, if you're looking for a new Facebook friend, We Are Sacred Heart, RSCJ, is our one of our Facebook pages. So I hope you've been able to be, oh, hello, we have more people who joined, yay, welcome. I hope you've been able to take a little time to be attentive to joy in the last few days. And tonight we're going to have some reflection time together, and we'll have some time for sharing. And I don't know if anybody brought a symbol, but there will be time for that if you wish, or your own thoughts and feelings. And we're also going to have some input, some thoughts on joy to maybe spark our conversation. And we're going to start with that. But really, I thought we should start with some joy. If we're doing joy tonight, we should have a moment of joy. So this week is Beethoven's 250th birthday. I don't know if you knew that, but Beethoven, as we all know, one of the most famous composers who ever lived, has brought joy through music for hundreds of years to millions of people. And so I thought we'd start with a little YouTube flash mob of Beethoven tonight. And I invite you just to enjoy the music. The song is Ode to Joy, good joyful song, but it's the faces. Have a look at the faces of the people as they open themselves to this musical experience. So let's have, yeah, I think it's about 4 minutes of joy. Every time I see that video, I see new things. Today, I noticed that little girl standing right beside the conductor. She never moved through the whole thing. The orchestra surrounded her. But music can bring us joy. Music can remind us of joyful moments. Just think for a moment, what's a song that brings you joy? And why does it bring you joy? Anybody want to say a song that brings you joy?
All the audio.
May I? This is Maura.
Yes, please.
It's a version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow by a Hawaiian artist, Israel, and I don't remember his last name,
Yeah.
but it's wonderful. It has like a kind of a jazzed up sort of beat to it.
Yeah, full of joy. Anybody else? Thank you, Moira. Do you know the song, That Old Time Rock and Roll? Crazy dancing song? I knew that would make Sheila laugh because she and I used to burst into dance when that song would come on. So sometimes, so happy birthday, Mr. Beethoven, 250 years. Sometimes we're surprised by joy. C.S. Lewis, the author, wrote an autobiography called Surprised by Joy, title based on the Wordsworth poem. But for him, joy was actually about longing. The book is about longing and about the stabs of joy that he felt. Isn't that an interesting way to describe it? Sometimes the joy is just pure delight. My happy place in New York is Central Park. I love Central Park, and we're fortunate to be able to walk to it. When I mentioned Central Park, I forgot to ask, how many people here are in New York City? Give me a wave if you're in New York City. Okay, how many people are elsewhere? Okay, do you mind telling us where you are if you're not in New York City?
Omaha, Nebraska.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Austin, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so
Also New Jersey.
Also New Jersey. Okay, big showing from New Jersey. If I say the park, though, to you, Central Park or another park near you, what's your image of the park? How does it spark joy? What do you see in Central Park? Yesterday I saw them feeding the seals, and that was very joyful.
All the audio.
I didn't realize there were seals in Central Park. Now I'm going to have to go there. But I think of fresh air and relaxation, and that's what comes to my mind.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I think of like walking and feeling the sun on my face. But like I feel like when you arrive at the park and then you step, if you've come by car and you step into that like the green area and you're finally there, and then you just feel the warmth of the sun if it's a nice day as you're walking. I find the joy in that feeling.
For me, it's like a feeling of being relaxed, calming down, and just being able to enjoy.
Thank you.
I definitely feel, I was gonna say, I feel a sense of freedom. It almost feels like you can make any turn that you want, or you can go down any path, and there's just a lot of options with no restriction on where you go or what path you take or how it's going to look. There's no pressure, and it just feels like a lot of freedom in that space.
I always appreciate about parks, and this is more or less true depending on how urban the park is, how contrived the landscape has had to be, but at least there's always a feeling, even if it is somewhat contrived for the needs of the environment. there's always a little bit more truth in the contours of the landscape. It's usually, you know, it's not flattened out, paved out, kind of tamed in the way that the rest of the world around the park is. And as Mara was just saying too, like the lack of a grid-like feel does offer this sense of openness and flexibility.
Thank you.
The park that I'm thinking of has a lot of flowers, both natural and I guess whatever, native and not native, I guess. So yeah, just a lot of different colors and different kind of creatures around that area.
I was going to say something very similar, Teresa, because I'm normally in New York City and very used to the grid, and the parts of the parks that I normally go to, well, there's a park in Austin that the river goes right through it, and my local park, Astoria Park, has a river, and I just really enjoy water. But also the beautiful thing about Central Park is it was specifically designed not to have the grid and to let you feel like you were wandering, and so you could feel a little bit not disoriented, but like you could get lost in it a little bit more easily. And I really appreciate that feeling of just like letting go of, especially for urban dwellers, to let go of kind of the grid and the structure, and to just kind of wander. And also another part of parks that I enjoy is kind of the people watching, and realizing that everyone else there is also kind of escaping from whatever they're going through, and just taking time to walk around.
Thank you.
I have to add on to the idea of people watching in that, because after everyone's sharing, it seems so clear to me, like parks are really a place for play. Like it's where humans go to play, whether child or adult, and we go and we might see squirrels or something frolicking around, but like we're equally there, you know, frolicking, kind of all sharing in that common space for play. So there's a lot of joy that comes with that.
Yesterday, I saw a man walking 5 sort of caramel colored Labradoodles. It's the second time I've seen him, and they're happy dogs. I mean, Central Park is full of happy dogs. Okay, so those are things that bring us joy, that make us smile. This week in Richard Rohr's Daily Reflections, the little piece at the bottom, which is always written by one of the readers, is on cosmic joy. And this is what she says, Cheryl M. I've been visited by cosmic joy while walking my dog down a forest trail, riding down a Fresno boulevard on the back of a motorcycle at night, sitting on a boulder in the midst of a rushing Smoky Mountain stream, staring into the eyes of a large grouper on a coral reef, and while sitting on the fireplace hearth, staring at the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree, knowing that our family would be together the next day. The feeling is a gift from God. It is brief, totally encompassing, and profound reassurance that I am one with my Creator. When we are visited by cosmic joy, fear morphs completely into love. I'm sure we could all write our own paragraph about what is cosmic joy for us. But sometimes, what about when we're not feeling the joy? Something wrong? Nothing wrong. Just not feeling it. This is a poem that one of our sisters wrote this week, and Sheila's going to read it for us.
Where did I put that joy? It is Gaudete Sunday. Rejoice and be glad. So why don't I feel the pink cloud of Advent? Just where is joy hiding? I tried to find it by putting up the tree early. Joy did not last. I spent some hours watching revolving Hallmark Christmas movies. Joy left during the commercial. I added a new string of lights to adorn the wreath. Joy disappeared when the lights went out. I pulled out the ingredients to resurrect old family recipes. Joy did not sustain past the mixing. And there in the stillness of presence, letting the absence of things get me to the real, I remembered my gratitude list of old. I recalled that despair cannot tolerate gratitude. I put down the remote control, the playlist of carols, the decorations, and the unforgiving list undone. I heard the small, still voice invite me to the blank side of a discarded envelope with a pen in hand. I started to list the gifts, the car that started today, the text message that reminded me that someone needs me, the running water that came warm from the tap, the burner that turned on, the words that I can read, the breath that I inhale, the thought that I can think, the child that once believed, the people that taught me what it means to belong, the God with us that refuses to let go when we do. And then, creeping like dew and remaining present like fog that won't lift, I felt it whisper to my soul, joy. In my gratitude, joy arrived and refused to move out. Emmanuel, God with us. Presence, absence, gratitude.
One person's experience of joy, gratitude. I don't know if you had a chance to read the short article that we included this week on art and joy, creativity, the importance of creativity for sparking joy. And I think that can be cooking, sewing, gardening, decorating the Christmas tree. So many things can evoke that creativity in us. Whatever invites us to put something of ourselves out there, something of our own life, our own beauty, and our own freedom of expression, dancing. And so beauty can also bring joy. Now take a moment when I say beauty. What do you think of? A word, one word that speaks beauty. Anybody?
The seashore.
Smiles.
All the
Music.
Flowers.
Family.
Fresh snow.
Sunset.
Nature.
Sunrise.
Children.
Spring.
Moonlight.
So I thought tonight we would do a little guided meditation on joy, and that will kind of lead us into another sharing. But I'd like to begin with a video that I think is beauty and is joy. It's called Dadiri. It was shared with me by an Aboriginal woman from Australia. And it is a practice, a way of life, a whole life, the life and energy of the Aboriginal people in Australia, Dadiri. it drew me in. And I think it pulls together some of these things: attentiveness and listening, beauty, gratitude, creativity, self-emptying, delight, longing, connecting. Dadri is deep listening, feeling the presence of life and energy, and if you wish, creator. And I think of joy. So I'm going to share another video just to get us into a contemplative space. I invite you to get comfortable and just soak up this beautiful invitation to deep listening, and that'll lead us right into our reflection.
To know me is to breathe with me. To breathe with me is to listen deeply. To listen deeply is to connect. It's a sound, the sound of deep calling to deep. Dadidi, the deep inner spring inside us. We call on it, and it calls on us. We are river people. We cannot hurry the river. We need to move with the current and understand its ways. We wait for the rain to fill our rivers and water our thirsty earth. We watch our bush foods and wait for them to open before we gather them. We wait for our young people as they grow. The time for rebirth is now. If our culture is alive and strong and respected, it will grow. It will not die, and our spirit will not die. I believe that the spirit of Dadidi that we have to offer will blossom and grow, not just within ourselves, but in our whole nation.
So now we move into our reflective space. I invite you to get comfortable. You may wish to close your eyes, turn off your camera if you wish. If you want to have a paper and pen handy, or your journal if you wish, to write something down. Oh my, hold on, I think another video is starting. Stop. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, dadiri, deep listening. We take a few breaths just to be in this moment, in this place. Joy. What is joy for me? What does the word joy evoke? Let us use our senses to explore joy in a few very simple exercises. I use my ears, my hearing, and I think about what is a sound that gives me joy. My ability to taste. What is a taste that gives me joy? Perhaps something recent or something from long ago. What taste gives me joy? What scent evokes joy for me? Inside or outside, alone or with someone, what scent is joy? Touch joy. What do you touch with joy? What does joy feel like on your body? I use my eyes. What do I see with joy? Perhaps who do I see with joy? What is a happy place? A place where I have been full of joy, recently or maybe long ago. What is a happy place? And finally, out in nature, earth, sea, sky, living creatures, what parts of earth give me joy? Now, slowly we come back to this moment, to this group. If you want to take a minute to jot anything down or hold all of those thoughts together, perhaps there were some surprises, some different ways of experiencing or sensing joy that you weren't expecting. And now we're going to go into two groups, random groups, and just have some time to share. 20 minutes, maybe? Because we could have two nice small groups. And here are some questions that may help. What were your thoughts or feelings preparing for this evening? Is there anything in the last week or previous to that that you just want to share? What came up for you in the ideas, the readings, or the videos tonight? Or maybe, what symbol of joy would you like to share with the group? Did you have a word or a thing or a song that you want to share? No pressure. This is just invitation to share. We try to allow time for everyone to share if they wish. Sometimes one's heart is overflowing and it's hard to share. You can just say, I pass for now. That's fine, no problem. Just hold it in your heart and the group will respect that. And sometimes our sharing is just a small gift. It might be something very simple and very humble, but if we share it with our heart, it's gift to the group. So let us practice dadiri together, deep listening to each other. And then we'll come back at about 8 o'clock Eastern in 20 minutes. And there's no sort of reporting back to the big group, but we will have a few minutes if anybody wants to share something with the whole group when we come back at 8, and we'll have our closing prayer. So let us go to our small groups and we'll see who appears. Thank you. Well, the other group, I hope your group was as wonderful as ours. Sharing joy is a wonderful thing, no? Good, good. We don't want to run over time because I know time is precious and people have other plans. So I want to save a little time for the closing prayer. But does anybody have anything that they didn't get to share or that you really want to share now with the big group? We have a few minutes.
I have something quick to share.
Sure.
I found a lot of joy from a movie that I watched this week called The Antidote. And it was on Prime. But the theme is like kindness is the antidote. And it's about all these beautiful acts of kindness around the world. And I really enjoyed watching it while I decorated the tree. So if anyone's looking for an uplifting but meaningful, there's sadness in it, but in an uplifting way. Because there's people doing beautiful things to change the world.
Thank you, Kelly. Anyone else? I just feel like my heart is full of joy
Yeah.
because of all of you. Moira, sorry, were you going to say
Yeah,
something?
sure. Can I? I was just going to share that I shared with the small group what a joy it is to discover this, because I didn't remember how I got these emails, and something just said, oh, you can do this thing that you've been reading about on this Monday. Do it. So it's great.
Wow.
Maybe I'll share the poem that I shared because
please.
it was the theme for the Christmas party that my office organized, but it's also about joy, and so I shared it with the other group, so apologies for repetition, but it's called Don't Hesitate by Mary Oliver. It was a favorite poet of mine, and it goes like this. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb.
Thank you, Cecily. Beautiful. Is there anybody who wants to just hold up their symbol, even if we don't explain them all, just so you can see? I see a hummingbird and hearts, a beautiful mug, hand-painted. Oh, a painting. Ah, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we'll draw together the threads of all of this joy by two more things, a poem and a song. So I've invited Teresa to read the poem for us, please. Well, poem, prayer, deep thought.
Joy and Sorrow by Khalil Gibran. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the selfsame well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow. Others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and joy. Only when you are empty are you at a standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall.
In our world today, there is much deep joy and sorrow. Let us remember and pray for all who have gone on before us, for all who grieve, for those who are sick and those who care for them, and in gratitude for the memories which can bring deep joy. And this song, I'm going to screen share one more time, is called Memories, and it's by One Voice Children's Choir. And so what you see the faces of beautiful children.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name, 'cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day, yeah.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, yeah. But everything will be alright. Go raise your voice and say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today. Close to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost. When I felt that all the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, let you know I'll never drop. Yeah.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, hey, hey. But everything will be alright. Go and raise your voice and say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today. Close to the ones that we lost on the way. Cause the dreams bring back all the memories. And the memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. Do 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 do. Memories bring back you. Oh, here's to the memories bring back you. Oh, here's to the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you.
So our deep joy, our deep joy is energy, creativity, passion, longing, gratitude, delight, giving, beauty, freedom, relationship. Joy is part of who we are as creatures on earth and doesn't in any way change that we also feel sorrow and anger, shy and other feelings. All coexist. All are in our common oneness. Thank you for this evening. Thank you for sharing joy. And next week, we share love. So please do come back. Bring a friend if you wish, and bring a symbol if you wish. And let us be aware this week of love, signs of love, dadiri, deep listening. Teresa or Sheila, anything you want to say before we end?
Only to thank you all once again for being here, especially as we get toward the end of the month and people tend to get busier. It's wonderful to be with you in this unique way. And you'll be hearing from me again some point in the middle of this week with any information you need for next Monday's session.
Thank you all. Stay safe, be well, share joy.